More tedious cleaning. Lots of cleaning. Got to get rid of all this old gasket material, especially as we know that the exhaust is not in great condition. I still haven't decided what to do with that yet. I may try and contact an engineering company locally and see if they can fit it in for skimming. It may be possible to take some material off and make a better mating make a better mating surface. So I've worked my way around all of these ports, including this water one here, and cleaned it up. Now I know it's stained, but the important bit is that the gasket material's gone and we're just left with the dirty outline of where it was. Took a bit of time to do. The other thing I've just done is I went over with 600 wet and dry and gave this a second polish. I think it's as clean as we're going to get it. It will need degreasing before it's fitted, but in terms of these sort of grey marks here, there's not a lot I can really do about that unless I went to a coarser grit, and I really don't fancy doing that. This is such a nice flat head that and no one's ever going to see this dirt. I really don't think it's going to no one's going to see this staining, so I don't think it's super important to get it to a machined polished finish. The danger is that I take the centres out or put a slight wave in it, so I'm just going to leave it as it is now. The next job I'm going to do is clean up these surfaces here. There's one here and there's one at the end here. They were siliconed with the O-ring. I've ordered 2 new O-rings to go in the flanges that go on here, but apparently it's quite common for these to get corroded, so I'm going to get a razor blade and just clean them up, see what state they're in. It may be that we have to use some sort of RTV, but I'm hoping not to. Now, a lot of crap's falling down into the water jacket here. The whole thing's going to be cleaned about 3 or 4 times before it goes back into service, including both airline and detergent and water. I'm going to get this as clean as possible. It can't really be helped cleaning up this and getting stuff in there. I'm less concerned about the water jacket and more about the oilways. Right, all the low points are the dark bits, and I'm wondering if the O-ring will even seal against that properly. Okay, I think the new seals should be big enough to cover the corrosion. Maybe we'll get away with that. It's over a week later. I've just returned from my holiday in Scotland. Done 1, 2, 3 of the valves lapping in. That's where I left off, and I've still got another 5 to do. So I'm going to crack on with those, get them lapped in, and then it's time to clean. Since then I've had some deliveries. I've had some brass nuts which I ordered on eBay. They're going to be for the exhaust manifold so that they don't rust onto the studs like the last ones did. I've got 2 new studs to replace the broken one and the one that wound itself out. What else have I got? I have also received new O-rings for the coolant flanges, and I took the liberty of ordering a new gasket for the inlet manifold to carburetor. So that should hopefully be all that we need. I also ordered a bottoming out tap so that I can clean the threads on the block, and that should help us make sure that there's no binding and that we get proper torque settings. Right, anyway, enough rambling. Onwards with the lapping in job. That is all the valves lapped in now. They've all got a nice grey band. I've only used the fine paste on there so that we're not cutting, we're just cleaning and reseating. So yeah, pleased with the way that went. It wasn't too much effort. This cylinder head job reminds me of sometimes how the simple jobs can go on and on and on. Granted, I've just had a week's holiday, but this is probably into my 4th week of doing this. You know, sometimes there's problems where you get a snapped stud, sometimes it's parts availability, sometimes it's just changing your plan, like renewing parts you didn't originally intend to do. But yeah, it's going on, and there's still a lot of work to do. It's just a case of ticking each step off the list as I go. The next step, as far as I can tell, is cleaning. And I want to clean the cylinder head and the valves and springs exceedingly well. I want to get rid of any trace of foreign material, like any grinding paste, any loose bits of carbon, any gasket material. It's had one clean already, but it needs a really good one where I push water through the various orifices and clean them out. So I'm going to take a good long time to do that, and once that's done I will come back and start reassembling. I have to, I think I'm going to make a tool to try and insert the valve stem oil seals, but I'll talk about that later. Take the opportunity to try these studs all around. Good start. If I do these now, and there's no chance of us having water in there later, and hydraulically lock them up. Okay, I think we need to run a tap down this one. Let's do that now before the cleaning. Just going to run a dye down these threads to clean them up so we don't get any binding when we reattach the manifolds. Much better. Good. That wouldn't go down before. I'm using 400 grit to clean up this flange surface a bit better than it was. I've got new O-rings, but it's so badly pitted. I don't think any amount of sanding is going to get rid of that. You'd have to have it machined flat again, but what I intend to do is put a smear of Honda Bond on there. The new O-ring will seal against that, and hopefully that will give us the seal we're looking for. But in the meantime, I'm going to get it as flat as possible. Incidentally, I found a neat little trick, because I was getting fed up with having to throw away the wet and dry every time it got clogged with the aluminium. But I discovered by using a pencil eraser, it does a fabulous job of getting rid of all the aluminium deposits and gets you back to nice clean paper again. I've got the exhaust manifold back from the machine shop. I've had all the flanges machined flat again so that we actually have some surface to compress the gaskets. I've also just drilled and retapped the broken stud that was in there. I've rerun taps down these other holes as well, so that is effectively ready to go back on the head. I'm going to take a look at the inlet manifold. It's pretty messy, pretty dirty, so it needs a good clean. All this old gasket material needs to come off, and also there's evidence of, I think it's silicone, but it could be part of the old gasket. Yeah, it's the old gasket. It's pretty messed up. Very odd. Get rid of that. You get the idea. I'm just going to work my way around, clean it up, and then inspect it for damage. There's some evidence of oil here, but I don't know if that could well be from where I've dismantled it. Okay, on closer inspection, this hose here has had it's split through here. I don't actually think it's been leaking, but if I try messing with that, it will do. So I do need to order another one of those, which is a pain because it's more delays. But I think it's going to be over a week's worth of work putting all this back together anyway, so I shall add that to the list of things that needs doing. Got a lot of powdery crap in here. I'm hoping it's just dry coolant and not aluminium. Gently remove all this. I don't want to scratch the aluminium if it is just residual gasket material or coolant. Pretty nasty. I've got Nimbus, my furry helper, back. I don't know why, but she just loves sitting on my desk and watching me work. Or if she's not on my desk, she's on the toolboxes behind me watching me work. It's very odd. Cool. Right, I've undone the tab so that I can unscrew the exhaust gas, unscrew the inlet manifold gasket. Well, that's on good and proper. Right, please don't break, please don't break. Okay, got to be a bit careful. There's always something, isn't there? I don't think that wants to go. Okay, my 60 quid Toolstation map gas to the rescue again. These two were sea solid. I didn't want to break the heads off the bolts and have to drill them out and all the hassle that is. So I used the map gas to heat the aluminium. Obviously you can't get aluminium red hot, it just dissipates the heat too quickly, but I got it hot enough that a couple of applications of a heat and it allowed both these to break away. I think it was this one. Either way, two of them were stuck. I can't remember which ones. But again, you know, I've ummed and ahed for a long time about buying a map gas gun because I was always sceptical as to how whether heat would make much difference. But there have been two occasions now, one with the exhaust manifold stuck, bolts, nuts, and now with this, so I think it's paid for itself already. And in the grand schemes, once you've spent the money, you've spent the money. Of course, it was a risk because obviously I had to sacrifice this with the heat. Obviously it caught fire in various places, but that should allow us now to change it. Just cleaning the threads as they were a struggle to get out. Even once they were broken, they were stiff. Yeah, there's a load of chalk coming out the bottom, so probably a good idea.